What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms. I'm joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, how's it going?
It's good. How about you, buddy?
It's good. Is it?
I mean,
It's fine.
I'm doing well.
It's fine. It's fine. Right? It's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, so we'll take it. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Tough,
exactly.
tough road trip. Tough road trip. I mean,
You knew it was going to be.
Yes, and there are just some teams that the Angels struggle against lately. That whether they're good or bad, I don't know if it's a team. I don't know if it's just going and playing there. But I mean, going to Fenway always scares me, doesn't it?
They're always. I think it's a little bit of our youth too. Like going back to when we were little kids, it was like no matter how good the Angels were and how bad the Red Sox were, or how good the Red Sox were, the Red Sox just dominated the Angels. And like the only thing that I can think of from childhood is just, David Ortiz walk-off homer, Manny Ramirez walk-off homer. And it's the reason why I hate the Red Sox more than I hate the Yankees because
why I hate intentional talk, Kevin Millar. I'm just kidding. I love Kevin Millar.
When we were younger, it was like, oh, the Yankees have 106 wins. Oh, the Angels just beat them in a series. It's like great, So yeah, you hate seeing Red Sox games on the schedule.
Going back like childhood wise for sure. Going back to when the Angels actually beat the Red Sox in a series was fantastic. Like that was long coming. It felt like
2010, right?
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah.
It's
I don't remember the exact year, but it was well after the couple years were like, man, we can't beat the Red Sox.
Yeah. And my first playoff game came against the Red Sox when they won the World Series. So there's that. So the Angels were one of the better teams in baseball, and the Red Sox just kind of kept doing their thing. They played good baseball. So and then they got a movie made about them. But yeah, I mean, anytime it feels like the Angels go back east, it's either they're really hot or they're really not. And it just kind of felt like they really weren't, even though like I want to take positives away from the Yankees series. I know, Nate, you're going to bring up that they didn't face Garrett Cole. They didn't face any of the aces there, Rodon. They got to see Nestor Cortez, and I thought they hit him okay. I know they didn't win, but I thought they played him well up until, they kind of fell apart there at the end. And, I just think, and again, I feel like we're bringing this up a lot. We've talked about this. They're just not a mentally strong team. It's weird to say that about a major league ball club. I don't feel like you don't see it very often, but man, just watching this road trip, mentally, they just aren't there. And I don't know what it is. I mean, you can point fingers at where you want, but I mean, at the end of the day, this isn't a high school team. This isn't a little league team, where they take shape of their manager or anything like that. But I don't know. I feel like I can't put too much blame on Phil Nevin.
I think you definitely take shape of the manager in the big leagues. I think it's a bigger deal than people think, but it does feel like a high school team a little bit. Like when things don't go their way, it's game over. Like they are not mentally strong enough to deal with adversity right now, and it's not a good look. It's something that they're going to have to get better at as time goes on. But yeah, it does feel like when something doesn't go their way, it's tough for them to overcome it. Where you look at some of these other teams, or you reference some of the really good Angel teams, and those teams dealt with adversity, and this team hasn't done a great job of it. But
yeah, I mean, I don't want to recap the Red Sox series, but just starting off with the Yankees series, they played them well in game one. I thought, they deserved to win that game. Game two, I didn't think they deserved to win it, but they played good enough to be in that game. They probably could have hit a little bit better. Sucks. I hate the runner on second rule, and it sucks that that's how they lost, but they should have scored in the top half of that inning, I thought, to make it a little bit different of a game there. And then, going into today, once they lost, not necessarily lost, but once Logan O'Hoppe got hurt, you could just kind of tell. I know that it was late in the game when he got hurt, but once they lost Logan O'Hoppe, it was like, and it scares me going and playing Kansas City and Oakland at home with this demoralizing of a road trip. If something like this continues, like I just feel like it can continue over. However, I mean, you expect that the Angels go and beat bad teams, and they have a homestand where they should hypothetically win 7 games. I mean, they're probably going to lose 1 or 2 in there because it's baseball and that's how it works. But it just feels like, it wouldn't surprise me if they went out and they lost what do they got? 7 at home. They lose 5 of 7 against Kansas City and Oakland, which they shouldn't do. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's go back to the Yankee series. I don't know if you have any positives to kind of take away from that.
Yep.
That series. You have positives to take away from it?
Couple of them, sure. O'Hoppe did swing the bat a lot better. He had a couple spots where he was getting a little. He was going through it a little bit. Ohtani hit the big home run, which was good. The bullpen, there were some good things to see from some guys. It's hard when like the overall general feeling of the bullpen is rough, but I think the way that the Angels responded after Jose Suarez's start was huge. Like for them to just be like, okay, who cares? Like next guy up, and that was kind of the bullpen's mentality, which is like the first time that the bullpen's really been that way, where it's like, who cares? Let's just get the outs and let's get out of here. So that was good. I don't know. Rendon keeps getting on base. Rendon, he's not hitting for any power. He's still getting on base. There's some good things to pick out of these games, but the overall feeling, Neto getting 2 hits, things like that. The overall feeling of this series is like, if you want to be a team that plays playoff baseball, you're going to have to win some of these games, especially going back to Boston. It's like you got to win one of these series, and New York is like. New York is not where they would like to be. New York is very banged up right now. And so to lose 2 or 3 in New York to a very banged up team, it's tough.
Anybody tough either. You didn't face Garrett Cole. Rodon's still, I think, injured. So yeah, that's
Nestor Cortez was the best guy that you saw, and he's more of a gimmick guy, not a stuff guy. It's more of like, hey, let me do the quick pitch and this and that, and like his stuff is good, but it's not elite stuff where you're like, oh man, it's gonna be tough to get a hit today. So and you look like Harrison Bader's still out, Giancarlo Stanton's still out. They're running Peraza and Volpe up the middle. Cabrera's playing, like Minor Falefa's playing center field. Like they've got a bunch of guys where it's like, man, this team isn't where they would like it.
Minor Falefa looked fantastic in game 3. I'm not gonna lie out there. He kind of saved the day out there for him. I don't know if you watched it or not, but
he played well in the outfield, but like, I guarantee if you ask Yankee fans, like, should he be playing on this year's team? And Yankee fans would be like, no, in an ideal world, that guy is, not playing at all. So, and you just look at it, it's like, they're missing Donaldson. Is Donaldson that big of a deal? No, but there's just a lot of guys they're missing. And we didn't even get to the pitching side of things where they're missing guys there too. So you got to take advantage of playing teams at the right time. And this was kind of a good time to play the Yankees. You're facing them 2 out of 3. Yes, you're playing in New York, but you're not seeing Garrett Cole. You're not seeing Carlos Rodon. You're not seeing Luis Severino. You're seeing Nestor Cortez and 2 guys that probably aren't on the major league roster if things are going correctly for them. And not only that, they're missing some of their better offensive pieces. Like, yeah, Judge was still in the lineup, but it was basically a Judge feast or famine type of thing. So I don't know. That was the one concern to me.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, I agree with you there. Let's touch on Logan O'Hoppe before we get to previewing this next series. We talked about it off the record. I want to bring it on the record. I'm not horribly worried about losing O'Hoppe. I mean, yes, he brings the home runs. He's brought the leadership behind the plate. If Chad Wallach comes up and catches rather than Matt Thaiss, I don't think you lose too much value there. Like, Chad Wallach is a very, very good catcher. We saw it last year. I was bidding for him. I was hoping, he would almost make the team over Matt Thaiss. I know that's a tough ask because you're then getting rid of a former first round pick. But and we don't know this yet, if Logan O'Hoppe does have to go on the IL, it's going to be probably Chad Wallach. And you do hope that he catches the majority of the games. I know it's not the guy that you want really in there offensively. But Logan O'Hoppe also batting, what do we say, 240? Yes, he brings the power.
He's back up to he's back up to 290 after surgery for 4 days today. But going into today, let me double check the numbers because he did hit a rough spot going into Boston.
Yeah, it'd probably be like 270 or something like that before today. But regardless, I've always been a fan of catching. That's why I'm, we're not saying bring
He
up
was hitting 240. He was hitting
what
245 going into today.
was he
Wow.
really? After a 3 for 4
Yeah.
day? Interesting. Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting. I guess we're that early in the season that you can kick up 40 points, but regardless, I'm not too worried if you have Chad Wallach catching. I love the way Chad Wallach catches. Watched him quite a bit, worked with him a couple off seasons ago, and I think that's just I think he's a very good catcher. He caught Reed Detmer's no hitter, whatever you want to take from that. Is that he's not going to bring a lot offensively, but again, defensively at a defensive position, you need to you need to excel there, and I think that they will be fine there, if not almost be a little bit better with Wallach behind the plate. I don't know if you have any input on that side of stuff.
I don't know about better. Like I think they're pretty similar. The one knock on Wallach is he's a big dude, so that's the one thing that's going to be different for guys. But yeah, I mean it's exciting. It's good for Detmers to get Wallach. I think he was comfortable with him. I do like that Wallach does handle the staff really well. He's handled some really good pitching staffs throughout his career. Um, and he hits a little bit. Like I know everyone's like, oh, he's not that offensive, but like he does swing it enough where like if he gets hot, he's definitely, a guy that could hit 240 for you and hit a couple bombs. Like so I'm not gonna say that it's definitely going to be a huge difference, but the one thing that's going to be different is it did feel like O'Hoppe had some clutch hits, and what's Wallach going to do in those clutch situations is what we're going to have to wait and see. But not official that O'Hoppe's out, but at worst, I'm giving him 5 days off. Like you might as well put him on the 10-day IL because he was already dealing with it in Boston. It came back up in New York. Like there's no reason. I know I say it's a big deal to win games now because you can't win a World Series in April, but you can lose it. And I think you can. But if we're trying to push O'Hoppe to playing on April 20th or April 21st, and he gets hurt and he's got to miss 6 months because of a torn rotator cuff or a strained shoulder or something, and he needs surgery, then the season's completely done because now you're having to go make a trade to get better at catcher or whatever, and they're not in a position to go do that right now. So they need to give him some time. And I think Wallach is going to play good enough to show that he's better than Matt Dice. And I think Matt Dice will end up getting DFA'd if O'Hoppe's only on the IL for a short time.
Yep. No, I'm 100% in agreement there with you. So let's go ahead and preview the Kansas City Royals series. Boy, dude, this is a good time to play the Royals and the A's. I'm not gonna lie, you need to go out there and win some games. This is the time to do that. I know the Royals come into this 4-15. They get to face Shohei Ohtani in game 1, so I think you can almost guarantee in a sense that's a win. I know this is going to be circulated if they don't win that game, but should hopefully win that game that Shohei Ohtani pitches. I'm not too concerned there. You go game 2, Tyler Anderson against Zach Greinke, former Angel Zach Greinke, as well there. And then game 3, I believe you go Reed Detmers and Jordan Lyles. You have to win this series. You almost have to sweep. Not saying it's a must win, but you got to beat bad teams. I think I'm going to be a broken record here in the next couple series. You got to beat bad teams, and coming in Kansas City coming into town. This is a good series to get hot, and then you go and you play against Oakland at home, another good series to get hot. So I fully expect the Angels to get hot here, but again, they have to stay out of their heads. They need to mentally be there, and I don't even know really if we have too much to go over there on that side of stuff.
It's a good series for the pitchers. Ohtani should throw the ball really, really well. Kansas City is one of, if not the worst offense in baseball, depending on what metrics you're going to look at, but they don't score a lot of runs. They don't hit. This is a really good time to get Kansas City before they figure out how to hit and get some of these guys back. But yeah, it's a big series for this pitching. Like they have 2 of their top 3 guys throwing this series, depending on who you want to throw in there. Detmers or Anderson could be the 3. Obviously, it's Ohtani and Sandoval is 1, 2. So you got 2 of your best 3 pitchers going. Like, these guys need to show out and show why this rotation is a top 10 rotation according to MLB.com. So this is a big series for the starting pitching because starting pitching has not been good. I think it's big for the bullpen as well, because if the starting pitching does what they are supposed to do, they should go 6 or 7. And that would be huge for this bullpen because they are getting absolutely wrecked right now. They are getting overworked to the max. Everyone is throwing 2 times a series, which is unbelievable.
Pitching,
like, these guys should not be throwing 2 times a series.
Pitching well, though. I'll say that they're pitching well right now.
Some of them
in the situations that they've been put in right now, they're pitching pretty well, minus the last game against the Yankees. So with that being said,
there's a couple of them that are throwing the ball well.
Yeah. So with that being said, if you're watching us on YouTube, drop it
real
below.
quick. I was just gonna say, going back, you can't walk 23 guys in a series and expect to win the series. So they need to do a better job of throwing strikes. This team is not an offensive team. You've got to throw strikes. And Perry preaches this, that they need to throw strikes. You can't walk 23 guys. It's unacceptable. In a 3-game set, you cannot walk 23 guys, especially with the lineup that is missing Giancarlo Stanton, Harrison Bader, Josh Donaldson. The list goes on and on with guys that they're missing. So you gotta attack this Kansas City Royals lineup.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. You have to go in there and you not just attack, you need to go and just dominate, to be honest. With that being said, one last question here that just kind of came into my head here. You kind of worried about Patrick Sandoval at all? Maybe a little bit?
No. The big thing that always is my thing with Patrick Sandoval is, like, he kind of gets a little young Jared Weaver-ish on you, where he thinks he needs to strike everyone out instead of, like, hey, you've got good stuff, just go attack guys and get outs. That's why his pitch count is usually pretty high. So I think if he gets back to just attacking and being ready to go, I don't think there's going to be a problem. I think he just needs to stop nibbling. Like, bro, you've got really good stuff. Just go after guys and let your defense work. And if your defense doesn't make plays, then, that's not on you. I would rather you give up 15 hits than watch these guys walk 6 guys in a start. It's just not fun baseball. You're not going to win games walking guys. Like, you have a better chance of getting a guy out with a ball put in play than you do when you're walking guys. You're not getting guys out when you walk guys. You have a chance to get a guy out when the ball's in play, but you're not getting guys out when you walk them. So I'm not too worried about him. Obviously, the red flag for me is Jose Suarez. It's always been, always will be Jose Suarez.
Yes, and let's give him a start or 2 more before
one
we
more.
talk.
One
more.
One more.
You saw him battle in New York. I don't want to start this conversation.
6 walks?
You saw him battle. I'm not saying he pitched well. I said you saw him battle. That's the term for sucking but being decent. Is that fair?
I saw Aaron Luke battle too.
Sucking but being decent. Is that fair? Sucking but being decent.
No.
That's
no.
Sucking but getting outs?
You're a professional pitcher. You're a professional pitcher. You got to be better than what you've been. And if you want to be on this roster,
6 walks, isn't it?
You want to make the playoffs. Like, the Angels claim to want to make the playoffs. You can't keep running Jose Suarez out there if he has another bad start. It's just how it works.
Putting that on a shirt for you, claiming to want to win. So, guys, don't, no more from you. With all that being said, guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. Go ahead and like us on all of our social medias. That was a good one, huh? You like that? You can go ahead and follow us on all our social medias, and subscribe wherever you're listening and watching. Go ahead and follow myself on Twitter, _Tim's Nate at NateGreen34. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.